the sight of a no trespassing sign makes you turn the other direction, you're probably, like most people, wary of venturing where you're not welcome. But for some, the thrill of being where they're not allowed and where others might be afraid to travel sparks a rush worth risking it all. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Don't worry, he's not about to jump. Moses Gates just wants to pose for a picture up here on the eagles of the 61st floor of New York's famed Chrysler Building.
It's such an iconic place. Everybody knows the eagles of the Chrysler Building. Will Smith was hanging out on them in Men in Black 3.
You need to break that blue laser line with your thumb to complete the circuit.
It's an amazing experience and one that, everybody should be able to have.
That experience is well known to urban explorers like Gates. For them, every skyscraper, sewer, and scaffold is a space just begging to be hacked.
Down the rabbit hole.
Places like the catacombs of Paris, a 200-mile maze that holds the remains of 6 million. And other underground hideouts that can even apparently be a great place to party. These guys are not afraid to show off their adventures, even though they're technically a group of professional trespassers. On this day, he invited me to join him, to try my hand in practicing what he preaches, my first urban exploration.
Yeah, rocks don't seem quite as steady. When you see a sewer, a scaffold, a structure, is it just an expedition waiting to happen?
I don't even really consider it an adventure anymore, just kind of an off-the-beaten-path travel or really just a vacation.
We climb into a car.
We're walking along the ledge
and head out into New York City to find out what fuels his drive to conquer urban jungles.
I cannot with any eloquence describe why going into a hole in the ground and seeing what's there is cool, but I think people understand it almost instinctually, I would say.
We were careful not to break any laws for this adventure, but now on foot, getting to our first destination is tricky.
Since when do you allow a locked gate to stop you, really?
But we eventually arrive at the High Bridge, the oldest span connecting Manhattan to the Bronx.
Keep out.
A fence prevents me from going across it.
It looks like a great view, actually.
It really is.
How did you ever get interested in this urban exploration?
I started just by walking around and walking the streets and seeing what I could see. Oh, awesome. If you talk to really anybody who's just an urbanophile.
Are you an urbanophile?
I am an urbanophile.
Okay.
They might not identify themselves as an urban explorer, but inevitably they have a story about, oh, there was this manhole that I popped, or this abandoned observation deck I found, or something like that.
40 flights of stairs and some Wall Street attire will get you on top.
But for you, it's not even just personal, it's really a larger movement for the greater good, right? You want to see the places that you're able to go to. You want everyone to be able to see them if they choose. Being
able to take risks, and these kind of risks, is something that not everybody can do. But yet everybody should be able to see these places. Darn it.
A second bridge we visit is also closed off.
Is this frustrating to you when you see this kind of blockage from people exploring?
It makes no sense.
Our poking around here is unfortunately unsuccessful. Determined to have one small adventure, we head to our last stop and face the big challenge of the day.
This is the borough of Manhattan here. We're going to see if we can get from Manhattan to the mainland in New York State, which is the Bronx, without crossing a bridge or getting our feet wet. So we're going to see what's up here, and then also underneath there we might be able to get over.
We can't go any further yet again.
Yeah, the tide isn't quite low enough, so we can actually go around this way if you want.
I thought you said we weren't going to have to get our feet wet.
Well, how good of a long jumper are you, though? This is really the only place you can do it.
As we cross, Moses' curiosity gets the best of him.
Oh, what's in here, man?
It may just be a hollow space behind that panel, but for an urban explorer, taking a peek is the whole point.
Whoa! This is super cool. There's kind of something new around every corner, and you should always try to poke your head around it.
As for me, I can now say I walked on water from the borough of Manhattan to the mainland of New York. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.